CHMA.
Hey, this is Oliver from Sackville, and you're listening to CHMA.
The time is 9 o'clock and you're listening to CHMA 106.9 FM.
And now it's time for your CHMA News. We're broadcasting from Sackville, New Brunswick, the heart of the Maritimes and the traditional and unceded lands of the Mi'kmaq people. Coming up in the next 15 minutes, we'll have your local news, Atlantic update, weather, sports update, and some community announcements.
Hello and welcome to your local CHMA News for Tantramar. I'm Clinton Davis. Today, Tantramar foster parents are recognized after 41 years of caring for children. But first, Amherst's downtown core will be partly closed tomorrow for Cumberland Pride's annual Pride Parade. The town of Amherst says the downtown T will be closed from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow, with Church Street closed at King Street and Victoria Street closed between Havelock and Lawrence. The Pride Parade is scheduled to begin at 2 p.m., followed by a community celebration and after party running from 4 to 7 p.m. at Victoria Square. And yes, it is a family-friendly dance party. Organizers say this year's event marks the 9th Amherst Pride Parade since the first Cumberland Pride celebrations were held in 2017. Drivers are being asked to plan alternate routes around the downtown area during the festivities. And now for today's feature story. Back in May, at an event held in Moncton, a Tantramar couple was honored for their contribution towards work to be a beacon for those in need. At the New Brunswick Foster Parent Association's annual appreciation banquet, Greg and Denise Martin were recognized for more than 4 decades of service. The Tantramar couple has spent more than 4 decades opening their home to young people in need, primarily teenage boys. I sat down with the Martins to talk to them about what the recognition meant and what they've learned after helping raise generations of young people. So the both of you were recently honored. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
We've been fostering children, mainly teenage boys, for this is our 42nd year. And we're the longest serving foster home in the greater Moncton region for teenagers especially.
Greg was immediate to point out that it was a team effort and the recognition belongs to more than just one person, more than just the two of them.
We couldn't do it. We couldn't do it without each other, and we couldn't do it without the cooperation of our daughter. She helped us with a lot of things that we had to do with the kids.
According to the provincial government, there are over 360 approved foster homes in New Brunswick. Denise felt the recognition was special.
Every year they choose somebody and they give us a plaque.
The award may have recognized one evening, but the Martin story stretches back decades. Greg Martin says he grew up in a large family on Green Hill Road in what is now Tantramar. He says neighbors and relatives often helped raise one another's children. Years later, Greg and Denise Martin decided to extend that same sense of support to other families.
We decided that we were probably just going to have the one child of our own, our daughter. So we decided that we had so much more to offer. That's when we started taking other kids, foster kids. And now we're in our 42nd year taking other people's children, giving them a place to live.
Over the years, the Martins cared for both boys and girls, but Greg says they increasingly found themselves helping a group many foster families are hesitant to take in.
We've had both boys and girls, but mainly we took in boys because it's hard to find homes that will take in especially teenage boys.
Greg says fostering teenagers comes with challenges, but he also says it comes with rewards that can last a lifetime.
And we found it extremely rewarding taking in the boys because they're a bit of a challenge, but they end up, and lots of times, turning out to be good young men.
And according to Greg, those relationships often continue long after the children leave their home. Some former foster children still visit decades later. Others call for advice, support, or simply to stay connected. And the Martins' work hasn't been limited to long-term placements. They've also opened their home in moments of crisis.
We also do emergency foster care. So if social development picks up a child at 4 o'clock in the morning sleeping on the bench, and at night they'll bring them to our place and they'll stay until they can establish some place for them to go and stay permanently if they can't go back to their families.
According to the Government of New Brunswick website, hundreds of children and youth remain in out-of-home care across New Brunswick. Between 700 and 1,000, with up to 200 placed in kinship care.
The point I always like to try to make is that lots of times, or 99% of the time, it is not the child that's the reason they're in the position they're in. It starts when the parents struggle to be parents. That's a big issue, and it's always been that way, and it's even as bad now as it's ever been with young parents not able to cope and to raise their kids.
Right. Despite the challenges, the Martins say the rewards have always outweighed the difficulties. More than 4 decades after they first opened up their home, some former foster children still return to visit.
We have young men that were with us 40 years ago that are coming to visit us now with their kids.
Greg and Denise Martin continue fostering children into their 42nd year. Do you know of anyone in the Tantramar region that has accomplished something incredible, received acclamation, recognition, or has a really interesting story to share? Reach out to us at news@chmafm.com. That's it for today. Thank you for listening. My name is Clinton Davis with your local CHMA News here in Tantramar.
Hi, I'm Reed Delaney from the Massue, and you're listening to CHMA 106.9.
And here's your CHMA Atlantic update. NB Power says it fast-tracked approval processes for a proposed natural gas plant to avoid potential rolling blackouts within the next 2 years. CEO Lori Clark defended the decision after the Auditor General criticized the utility for exposing taxpayers to unnecessary financial and regulatory risks. The auditor found NB Power entered a long-term agreement with a private partner before receiving regulatory approval, potentially risking more than $55 million. The proposed 500-megawatt plant has received Energy Board approval, but still requires environmental approval from the New Brunswick government. New Brunswick has released a report summarizing public, industry, and First Nations feedback on plans to modernize the Clean Air Act. Participants called for clearer air quality information, stronger public education efforts, and more transparent enforcement of air quality rules. The report also supports updating provincial air quality objectives to better protect human health. The government aims to update air quality regulations this year and introduce broader legislative changes by fall 2027. The Smiths Cove Fire Department in Digby County has received just over $94,000 from Nova Scotia to install a solar energy system. The system is expected to provide about 97% of the department's energy needs and reduce carbon emissions. Officials estimate the project will save between $400,000 and $600,000 in energy costs over the solar panel's 30 to 35-year lifespan. The funding comes from the province's Sustainable Communities Challenge Fund, which supports climate adaptation and emissions reduction projects. Nova Scotia is offering grants of up to $25,000 to community groups working to recruit and retain healthcare professionals. The funding supports projects focused on recruitment, retention, and creating welcoming communities for healthcare workers. Eligible applicants include nonprofit organizations, community groups, and municipalities. Applications for the latest round of the Office of Healthcare Professionals Recruitment Community Fund are due by July 16th. Newfoundland and Labrador has launched an independent review of its workers' compensation system as required under provincial legislation. A 5-member committee representing employer and worker interests has been appointed to lead the review and gather public input. The review will focus on workplace safety, support for injured workers and families, and improving system efficiency and accessibility. The committee is expected to deliver its final report and recommendations to the provincial government by March 31st, 2027. Our CMP officers and staff in Newfoundland and Labrador will take part in the St. John's Area Law Enforcement Torch Run for Special Olympics Newfoundland and Labrador on Friday. Participants will run from Paradise Park to Capital Subaru in St. John's, following a route through Paradise, Mount Pearl, and St. John's. The event raises money for Special Olympics programs, competitions, and athlete support across the province. Motorists are being asked to plan ahead and drive carefully along the route during the event. And that has been your CHMA Atlantic Update.
Hi, das ist Lasse aus Deutschland und ihr hört CHMA.
And now for the weather. Today, a mix of sun and cloud with wind becoming northeast 20 kilometers an hour, gusting to 40 in the afternoon, with a high of 25 except 17 along parts of the coast, a humidex of 28, and a UV index of 9 or very high. At night, becoming cloudy in the evening, a few showers beginning overnight, as well as fog patches along parts of the coast, with a low of 13. On Saturday, showers with a high of 17, then at night, showers with a low of 12. On Sunday, cloudy with a high of 24, then at night, cloudy periods with a low of 14. On Monday, cloudy with a 60% chance of showers and a high of 21, then at night, showers with a low of 14. On Tuesday, cloudy with a 30% chance of showers and a high of 20, then at night, cloudy periods with a low of 12. Finally, on Wednesday, a mix of sun and cloud with a 30% chance of showers and a high of 23. And that has been the weather.
This is Riley Murphy from 105.9 Seaside FM, and you're listening to CHMA, the voice of the marshes.
And here's Brian Nielsen with your CHMA Sports Update.
Stanley Cup playoffs. Carolina Hurricanes knocking at the door after a 4-2 victory on home ice last night. Vegas scores the first goal, and then Carolina comes back with the next 4. Knights can't come back. They only score one more tally. 4-2 final, 3-2 series lead for the Hurricane going into Game 6 back in Nevada. World Cup kicks off yesterday with Mexico winning at home against South Africa, and Korea comes back to beat the Czech Republic 2-1. Canada tips off at 4 o'clock today, playing Bosnia and Herzegovina, and the USA has their first game against Paraguay. In Major League Baseball yesterday, a light schedule, including the New York Mets defeating the St. Louis Cardinals 5-4. Tigers shut out the Twins at home 11-0. The Marlins shut out the D-backs at home 2-0. Rangers with a 4-2 W on the road in Kansas City. Rockies lose to the Cubs 9-3 final in Denver. Dodgers defeat the Pirates 8-6. Orioles defeat the Seattle Mariners 7-5. And finally, in WNBA action last night, a full slate of games saw the Indiana Fever defeat the Chicago Sky at home in overtime, 114-106. New York Liberty defeat the Atlanta Dream down in Georgia, 104-90. Dallas Wings with the victory over the Phoenix Mercury, 85-70. And it was the Las Vegas Aces continue on their leaguing pace with a 105-89 victory over the Portland Fire.
And that's Brian Nielsen with your CHMA Sports Update. Please be sure to check out Brian's show on Mondays at 8:30 a.m. for more sports commentary.
Hi, this is Mark Gorley from the Johnston Point Road, and you're listening to CHMA.
And now for what's happening in your community. First up, on June 10th, Canadian folk musician Lotus White is coming to Sackville. A cult favorite in folk circles for years, Lotus bends folk, blues, and ragtime into an unmistakable sound that's equal parts backwoods mysticism and front porch virtuosity. From the Shetland Islands to Turkey, Denmark to the Netherlands, Lotus has carried his strange and spellbinding sound across the globe, this time arriving at Ducky's on June 10th, this Wednesday. The performance will begin at 8 p.m. The entry fee is $10 per person, or pay what you can. The Sackville Sports Wall of Fame will be adding 2 new portraits to celebrate its 2 latest inductees on Thursday, June 11th at 6:30 p.m. The induction ceremony takes place every 2 years to celebrate outstanding Tantramar athletes. This ceremony will celebrate Tantramar Titans football coach Gordon Scott O'Neill and sports administrator and coach Jack Drover. Everyone is invited to attend the ceremony at the Tantramar Regional High School auditorium. Marshlight Theatre is excited to announce an August outdoors production written by Dan Bray and directed by Paul Griffin. This production, Zomblet, is a production combining the classic story of Hamlet with zombies. Whether you are an established actor, an inspired actor, or just someone excited by the idea, Marshlight Theatre is opening auditions to the public. Tryouts consist of a cold read, and materials will be provided at the audition. They will be held from June 13th to 15th. Any questions or interest in backstage and tech help can be directed to Paul Griffin at griffinpaul438@gmail.com. The Keeler House Museum is having its season opening this June, Saturday 13th. Attendants can visit the museum at no admission cost to mark the 2026 year. The season opening will be hosted from 2 to 4 p.m. with opening remarks, refreshments, and plenty of opportunities to mingle. You can find the historic property on 4974 Main Street in Dorchester, New Brunswick. And that's what's happening in your community.
And that was your CHMA News. Please visit www.chmafm.com for more news and to sign up for our email newsletter. Funding is provided by our monthly sustainers, the Community Radio Fund of Canada, and the Municipality of Tantramar's Community Development Grant. If you have a story idea or would like to include an announcement, please write us at news@chmafm.com.
Hi, I'm Emma.
And I'm Darcy.
Make sure to listen to our show, Finding Film, every Friday night at 7 p.m.
here at CHMA 106.9 FM
in Sackville, New Brunswick.
Hello, everyone. You are listening to CHMA 106.9 FM in Sackville, New Brunswick, voice of the marshes. I'm Maya Noel, and this is the Late Morning Show. Today is Friday, June 12th. We have officially reached the end of the work week for many people, not for everyone. But regardless, we have reached the weekend. So congratulate yourself for doing so, as I will congratulate myself. We're going to jump into some music. First up, we have Ariel Posen with Bannatyne, as well as Bella Galasso with Can We Just Pretend? Let's go. You just heard Bella Galasso with Can We Just Pretend on CHMA 106.9 FM in Sackville, New Brunswick, Voice of the Marshes. I'm Maya Noel, and you're listening to The Late Morning Show, and we also heard Bannatyne by Ariel Posen. Next up, we have Levara with The City As We Speak, as well as Water Baby with Memory Be a Blade.
keep together.